Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Hey Jen.
Hey, sorry, having a
That's
hard
okay.
time on my end. So,
No problem. I was like, uh-oh, I see her, but I don't see her.
yes.
Well, welcome. Let me just say hi to everybody. So, we're here again. We do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have Nexus at noon, and it's just been a time for the Nexus community to come together and hear from different leaders and business owners just to get their perspective on how they're feeling about this time, but just also to meet them and learn about their business and what they're up to. So, we're excited to have you today.
Thanks. It's exciting to see your face. I
It's
love
exciting to see your face. So, Jen, for people who don't know you, why don't you just tell people about who you are and about your business? Just share what you're up to these days.
Sure, sure. So, yeah, I'm a mom of two girls. I have Lily and Annie, who are 13 and 16, and my husband Ed. We've been married
He
for.
said you were cute in the comments, by the way, just so that you know.
I laughed with Lily because I was like, now I know like the people who are going virtual all the time because I'm like sweaty because we took a walk and I put real clothes on. So super thankful it's not smell-o-vision right now. That'd be real bad. Yeah. So Ed and I have been married for almost 20 years, and then I had a teaching career for about 13 years, and then stopped that to open my own children's art studio almost 9 years ago, and yeah, so cranking along with that until recently.
Yes, which is what I'd love to chat with you about. So, you are a small business owner, and we have a lot of small business owners as a part of the Nexus community. And I just felt like there's so much insight that you could provide people as you're thinking through this time. So, how long is your business? How long have you had your business? And just tell a little bit more about exactly what it is.
Sure. So this August will be 9 years that I've had the Belle Children's Art Studio, and we are an art studio that typically is we focus on children. We do have some adult stuff, but we provide after-school art classes. We do summer art camps. It's a big season for us, so we're about to come up on our biggest season of the year. We do birthday parties and special events and paint night. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. We meet a lot of great people and families, and yeah, it's been awesome.
That's awesome. So your business that's been in a physical location, and
Mhm.
just a few weeks ago, you had to close.
Yeah.
Tell everyone, what were you feeling?
Hmm. It was crazy. It's like you're running down a path and like literally it just stops and you're like, wait a minute, I need to get there and I can't. I mean, it's like where you see those scenes where something tragic has happened and like there's paper still on the counter. I mean, it just came to a crashing halt. We were in the middle of one of our 6 week sessions. We had another 6 week session coming up. So it was really terrifying. I spent a good couple of weeks just kind of reeling, what should I be doing? All of a sudden, everybody was going virtual and everybody was providing, these classes. And I just thought, I don't know how to do that. Like that's not my jam. I'm not real great at that.
Yeah,
Should I do that? I felt this pressure to do that. And so it just kind of sent me spinning. Yeah, and it was scary. It was really, really scary.
well, I appreciate you being honest about that, Jen, because, like, even though we do see so many people that are out trying different things, like, I feel like there are some times where no one's saying the scary part. It's like we're just gonna figure it out,
Yeah.
or do something different. And so I just appreciate you being honest about that because everybody are different spots as we're working through this. But tell me what you first did because we talked a little bit about this. Like, how did you choose to spend your time? What did
Yeah.
you do?
Yeah, so after that first, like I said, initial like week or two, I just kind of gave myself permission to stop. I decided to not do virtual classes. I just thought, I don't think I can do that well. I think it will be overwhelming. It felt very temporary, and I didn't want to invest a whole lot of time into something that was going to be very temporary. So I was a little hesitant, but I did. I gave myself permission to stop thinking about that idea. For about a week, my job was researching what grants were available, what kind of, relief could I get. Ed can tell you I spent a few tearful days because that side of business is not my favorite side of business. And it's really hard. And, and it was scary. And you were just hearing all this like really depressing news about there's not a lot available. And, I did luck out and I got a few small little grants that provided a little bit of relief. But I think just the biggest thing is I thought, I've got to be good. I've got to be healthy. Hopefully this is short term and I need to make sure my family is good. I need to make sure my girls are good. And I do realize like I was in a fortunate position where I've always operated with a little bit of margin financially. And so I just kind of crunched the numbers and said, okay, like I personally can put the brakes on until summer camp season. And then I've got to figure some things out. And that was just my, the best plan of action for me. And I know it's not, that's not something everyone can do. I don't have a lot of employees. Ed and my girls are my only employees. So I said, you're on furlough. You don't get to come anymore. That's right. I'll cook you dinner instead. And, but I know everybody was kind of figuring out what the best option was for them. And that was just mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think one of the learnings in that is you created margin for yourself.
Absolutely.
Which I think, is for so many of us good advice because there are times when crisis and things happen and to have that margin and that savings is always helpful. We have a friend on, she just said she furloughed her husband as well, so we'll talk. So the last 2 months what have you been thinking, because you said to me like your focus went from like running my business. I had this thing that was going, it was working so well. Like, how am I going to survive all of this? So you said to me, like, you even asked yourself, am I up for it?
Right.
So
right.
tell me a little bit about what you've been thinking. And you told me about a book that you read. I just would love to learn a little bit more about that. So
Sure. So, following the governor's guidelines, I truly had to shut my doors for a month where I felt like, am I even allowed to go in? I don't even know. I snuck in and did some cleaning and things like that, but we were shut down. But as we start to reopen, I really did. I started having thoughts, I 9 years ago when I started this, I was up for the fight for sure. I had the energy of like, this is a new idea and I'm going to do this. And I'll eat rice and beans. I don't care. But you get on this journey and I'm 9 years in and I was comfortable. I was saying no to things that I didn't want to do. I wasn't having to do the crazy hustle. I have this great community of people and this support. And I was just like, man, maybe this is it. Like, maybe this is my time to like bow out, like I'm just not feeling when you're forced to have that excitement. It's not the same. So Ed and I just kind of started talking about things and like, is this it? And he's so encouraging and, just kind of made me stop thinking those thoughts. And here I am a few weeks away from needing to reopen my doors and start this summer camp season if I'm going to survive. And it's so crazy. I'll try and make this story short, but my daughter Lily went out and got the mail probably about a week ago. And she said, oh, Mom, your book came. And I'm like, I didn't order a book. I'm thinking, oh man, I got to go deliver this to a neighbor. It showed, my name is on it. And I opened it up and I was like, oh, so I had signed up for this conference online. This tells you how scatterbrained and crazy I am. I had completely forgotten that I had signed up for it and that I got this like free book when I signed up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot about this. And so I sat down and started reading this book like that afternoon, which is a miracle in itself because I've been trying to read like easy things like Harry Potter, and I can't get through like 5 pages because I can't focus on anything. It has been like Netflix city. But anyway, so I start reading this book and it was exactly what I needed to hear. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this up. This is the book, Chasing the Bright Side by my best friend Jess. Here. I'm like, Jess, I'm just feeling you. But it's just
right now.
so funny. I mean, I told you, Christine, I said, she's going to get a crazy email from this girl she's never met saying, this is what I needed to hear. But in short, like it is about optimism. And the first couple chapters that I read just gave me just this swift kick in the booty that I needed to remind me that I've got to lead this with optimism. If I decide that I'm going to reopen, it cannot be out of frustration. It can't be out of, I have to do this. It's got to be because I'm excited. And I love this and it's so worth a fight. And what do I want my story to be? And I'm thinking about this author, you know, and who she had this amazing conference that she was going to do, not virtually, you know, and I think had I originally like read it and not all this stuff was going on, I would have thought, oh, that's awesome, you know, for somebody who's just starting up. But it's crazy how things work out. And I mean, for her, hopefully she feels encouraged that it opened up a whole new group of people who are like me, who are 9, 10, 15, however many years in, and they're having to press the restart button and be reminded what they felt like all those years ago. You know, like I had that fight in me all these years ago, and it's because I love this thing that I'm doing and it's important and it's exciting and I love these kids. And even though something else has forced me to restart, it's been really fun over the past couple of weeks to think about all those things that I've kind of put on the back burner. Like, oh, I want to change this, but you know, it's easy. Like, why do I want to change this? Or, you know, or even change things in the studio, or, you know, I've been wanting to install this second sink. Well, now I need to do that because there's a lot of hand washing that needs to happen. But it's just been so encouraging. I don't know, to just be reminded that I'm in control of this story and I can do this. And I do not want my story to be like the coronavirus hit and I pieced out. Like that would be just so sad, you know? And it also reminded me that for these kids, and I know not everybody's doing summer art camps and not everybody's working with kids, but for me, if I get excited about this thing and I'm leading this thing with optimism, like I'm providing these kids with an experience this summer. Like this is like the best week they've had in months, like, you know? And so I don't know. I was just like, man, I am in control of what this environment feels like. And I don't want it to be scary and I don't want it to be a downer or any less than what it has been in the past. Like this is an opportunity for it to be something really special. So,
Yeah.
so excited. I went from total like fear to excitement. So it's good.
Well, that's awesome. And the thing that you said, which I think for so many people can happen, is you had this fire in you about starting your business or this new idea, whatever it is. And then sometimes as life moves on and you're kind of comfortable in what you're doing, you know, a little bit of that could be forgotten or
Mhm.
start to get into the routine of things.
Right.
And just your idea and what you said about like, hey, all of a sudden I just remembered why I do this.
Mhm.
This idea of hitting the reset button and
Mhm.
almost thinking about being that new entrepreneur again. Like and not that you're starting over, but you are starting differently.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Well, that's awesome. So many of you may know that Jess did join us at Nexus. So we had an event with her. It was a virtual book tour, and it was a really good, you know, discussion. And so we have more of her books. If any of you would like to purchase one, we can drop the link in the comments. We'd be happy to send it. If anybody'd like a little extra fire of optimism that you found, Jen, that's great.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts or words that you have for people, like as you're getting ready to open back up, and a lot of people are like, what kind of advice or just what's on your mind that you'd love to share with people?
Gosh, I would just say, I don't know. I would be encouraged. You know, and I know it's scary. It's really scary to open back up and wonder, are you doing it correctly? Are you, you know, are you following all the protocols? Are you going to offend somebody? Or, you know, and I would just say, just communicate really clearly, whoever your customer is, communicate really clearly what you have set up and then just go for it and then don't be afraid to change again if you need to change again. I mean, I feel like this situation is changing hourly sometimes, and so I would just, yeah, I would encourage everybody to just use it as an opportunity to change the things you've gotten kind of lazy about. I got lazy about some things, and yeah, I don't know, the small business community, especially, just leaning in on each other it's been amazing. I've been in communication more with the little shops around me in the last, 2 months than I have in the last few years. And it's really beautiful and awesome. And so I don't know, I'm really encouraged in the direction that things
I
are
like when I talk about the small business community, I just feel like everyone wants to be helpful, wants to be generous. Everybody wants to see each other succeed.
going.
And I think that's fantastic. Well, let me tell you, Jen, you're getting a lot of likes. People think that you have really great perspective. And Jess said hi as well. Like that you were popping on today. So we will put this in our video link and post it and everything. But why don't you just tell everyone, where is your business? What's the name of it? How can we find you to make sure that when you're open, we can come say hi?
Sure, I would love that. So we are located in Waxhaw, North Carolina, which for those of you who are in this area, I always tell people if you wonder where Providence Road ends, it's pretty much at my studio. You just get on Providence Road and drive on down. But Waxhaw, North Carolina. It's called the Bean and Belle Children's Art Studio after my two girls. And so we have a website, thebeanandbelle.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook under the same, the Bean and Belle Art Studio. Yeah, and so reach out if you have any questions. Our big season coming up is, like I said, our summer camp season, which looks like right now we've pushed it back a few weeks. It was supposed to be June 1st, probably going to be the second week or third week of June. But yeah, we're super excited. So, any questions you have, anything like that, feel free to reach out. Or, if you don't have kids and you're just curious about small business stuff, it's super fun for me to brainstorm with others and learn from others. So
Great. We'll put your website and all your social handles in, and we'll share the video. And I'll just end on this. One of our friends, Whitney, on here says, "You're radiating positivity, my friend."
oh, I
So
can't
love that.
stop tearing up, honestly. So thanks for that.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good. See ya.
Bye.